First and foremost, I want to start off by giving the higher praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Crack with us. Double honors to the elders, sing honors to the apostles, priests, and teaching. The word of truth, as always, with sincerity. Okay, anyway, going back to the main topic. This is the topic video here. Okay, so I want to make this lesson going into this clip here. So this big little clip here is spiritual. Came out last year on the 13th. Entitled, "Man who let deadly snakes bite him 200 plus times could be key to new anti-venom." And essentially, this is the 2/3, and this represents the 2/3. For nearly 2 decades, Tim Freed voluntarily injected himself with venom and endured over 200 snake bites in hopes of building immunity and helping create a universal anti-venom. And that shit is off. That shit is weird. It's bugged out. And that's basically how Jake is. Jake represents this guy who let Esau, the snake, bite him. Letting that snake, Esau, continue to bite them. And has bitten them voluntarily multiple times. This is Jake for you. So let's play a clip here.
Snakes on the planet. So why face something even the bravest action heroes usually fear?
I hate snakes, Chuck! The reason behind it is I didn't want to die from snake bite. I didn't want to use antivenom. I didn't want to lose a finger.
Despite lacking a formal scientific education, Freedy developed a system to build up a resistance, starting with small injections of venom and building up to full-on bites.
Very painful.
But there were setbacks.
Well, the first year I started doing this, it was a total disaster. I ended up in the hospital in a coma on 9/12, the day after 9/11, after 2 cobra bites.
Eventually, Freedy had the idea that his blood could be used by science.
That's also spiritual. That happened after 9/12, 9/11. Isaiah 30:12. Therefore, this is what the Holy One of Israel says: because you have rejected this message, relied on oppression, and depended on deceit. And that's the serpent for you, the deceit. Isaiah 30:12. Therefore, this is what the Holy One of Israel says: because you have rejected this message, trusting in oppression and relying on deceit, this iniquity, whose deceit Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's deceit. Yeah, the so-called white man is your enemy. This iniquity of yours is like a breach about to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose collapse will come suddenly in an instant. And that's why this is Sirach 12:10. Which states right here, Sirach 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Yep. Yeah, so Jacob would rather trust in that wickedness. Genesis 3 and 14. And the Lord Yahweh power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, talking to the serpent, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all thy days long, all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So that's what all that goes back to. Going back to the video. This basically represents Jake once again. Anyway, going back here on this one here.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Eventually, Freedy had the idea that his blood could be used by scientists to develop a better kind of antivenom and tackle a global problem.
5 million people are bitten every year. 125,000 people have died every year. And there's over 400,000 amputations and disfigurements because of snake venom.
While there are antivenoms available for many of the world's venomous snakes, the traditional process has drawbacks. Small doses of venom are injected into an animal, like a horse, which then produces antibodies turned into an antivenom. Plus, those horse antibodies can cause serious side effects. That means a patient needs to identify the kind of snake that bit them, and then the hospital needs to have that specific antivenom, a challenge in many poor rural areas. Freedy's dream, a universal antivenom based on human antibodies. It seemed more like a fantasy. For nearly 2 decades, he couldn't convince scientists to use his blood, but he persisted. Over 650 injections and over 200 snake bites later, one phone call changed everything.
I was like, look, I would love to get my hands on some of your blood. And then his answer to me was, yeah, I've been expecting this call for a long time.
Immunologist Jacob Glanville founded biotech company Cenovax. The goal? Create a universal vaccine that could treat multiple infectious diseases.
I started wondering whether the same biology...
And then this weird scientist here on the screen there, this scientist here, this guy nigga's an Edomite. Shaved ass face, never trust a dude with a shaved ass face. And nowadays those niggas also grow beards and make you want to trust them. But anyway, that's Esau there for you. Jake wants to voluntarily make this poisonous snake bite him, which represents Esau, the oppression, perversion, stay their own. He wants to continue in that, and then later on, Esau's still gonna use him and not give him half the money he's gonna make off that. Okay, and that's Jake for you. That represents Jake for you. Okay, and you know, and that's Jake for you, man. You know, so yeah, you know. That's the point of the lesson here of that Solomon, man. About the ball. Once again, hold on. Let me close out with this. Anyway, Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So this was just a short, quick lesson here, going into that. Yeah. Alright, come. Alright. Play some a bit more here.
Might apply to snakebite that applies to universal vaccines.
And the opportunity to study Tim Freedy was once in a lifetime.
Tim seems to be a totally unique immunological history phenomenon.
Glanville says that through repeated venom exposure, Freedy has built incredibly strong antibodies.
So it's like a samurai sword. You're bending it and hammering it and bending it and hammering. Each time it makes the blade more excellent.
And this goes into though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand and join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Con. Okay, go back to the.
Now, a collaboration between Freedy, Cenovax, and scientists at Columbia University have published a new research paper. The team developed what it calls an antivenom cocktail using antibodies isolated from Freedy's blood. In tests on mice, it gave complete protection against 13 out of 19 of the most deadly snake venoms in the world, and partial protection against the other 6. A major step forward, but still a long journey ahead, with a different blend of antibodies for vipers in the works. Freedy hasn't been bitten in 8 years, but says he's always willing to jump back in the snake pit for science.
I miss it a lot, but we'll see what the future holds.
A citizen scientist just waiting for the right mission to sink his fangs in. Did you?
And that's Jake for you. It's Jake for you.
Isolated from Freedy's blood. In tests on mice, it gave complete protection for science.
I miss it a lot, but we'll see what the future holds.
A citizen scientist just waiting for the right mission to sink his fangs.
So yeah, that shit is off, and once again, that all goes back to witchcraft, those scientists and stuff. So that's wicked, and that's making marks on your flesh. So, but that's Jake for you. Just so he can continue to support Esau and have Esau live off his treasures in his kingdom, the earth. Shalom and a bar.